Hey guys, and welcome back to another video from Planet Kerbin and the space above it. So today I'm gonna be showing off some planes that I've built, and I'm gonna ask you for names for them. So if you have a good name for one, leave them in the comments down below. So here we have plane number one. I'm gonna just launch it now. You can see that there's no crew in it, it's fully autonomous. Um, and I'm gonna fly it down to the island airfield. It has those three Panther engines on it, meaning that it can do that. Um, and it also has holes in the wings, which I think is pretty darn cool. And then it has those 5 air brakes, and it can carry a bunch of cargo. I think 6.75 tons of cargo to 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 the island airfield with fuel to spare. With a lot of fuel to spare, it only uses about a tenth of its fuel to get there. I actually only use the wet mode, which is the mode where it has all the fire coming out of it, coming out of the engines, when I'm taking off, which works pretty well actually. It really helps take off with a lot less runway speed than usual. Oh yeah, also there's those, which are the little. It has those little rocket engines to accelerate it when you don't want to use the wet mode, or if you're like braking or something. Um, Meaning that it can in fact use those to slow down backwards, which is pretty cool, I think. It also has a little um, docking port on the front, which is it can dock with stuff, which is nice. Then you can see I've targeted a previous one that I've landed on the island airfield, which broke. Fun fact: a bit of the wing can break off, even if it's unsymmetrical, and it can survive, which is awesome. Okay, so I'm just gonna fly it on down there. Alright. And I like to kind of get in position and then glide the rest of the way down to the runway. I don't know, I've never really liked moving around my fingers on the WASD key. And then using also the shift control. It's just a matter of personal preference. Okay, so here we go. Her landing gear is down. I could probably put the landing gear down later, but I don't really. I mean, I would risk crashing a lot more. Okay, so we're just gonna go down, which I like to call it an anti-flare, because it's the opposite of a flare. It's gaining, it's reducing its lateral speed in exchange for horizontal speed, instead of flare, which exchanges horizontal speed for lateral speed. Alright, I'm just gonna go into that final approach there. So I wanna build something, where I can have like a joystick, like 2 joysticks, one to control throttle and roll, and the other to control pitch and yaw. Maybe one to control throttle and yaw, and the other to control roll and pitch. And then have a bunch of buttons that correspond to like action groups and SAS and stuff like that. And a board with like a molly guard on it. Interesting story behind that name, by the way. I probably don't have time to tell it here. Although I will anyways. The reason why it's called a molly guard the reason why a covered switch, it's usually called a covered switch, but some people call it a Molly guard, um, is the inventor had a kid named Molly who was flipping the switches all the time, literally. So he invented the Molly guard, which covers the switches, so Molly cannot switch the switches. It's a lovely story, and it's my favorite, probably my favorite story of an invention happening. And the naming of it. Ooh. Alright, good, good. I did not explode. I didn't explode. This is very good. Very, very good. Although you'll see that. Oh, should I say it? No, I will not. I will not spoil it. Okay, so I'm just gonna go park in the hangar, which. Yeah. I'm gonna just park in that hangar, park in the hangar, park in the hangar, park in the hangar. And no. Okay, yeah. This brakes on. And then, actually, I can release the payload right here. I've made some action groups for it. Excuse me, I'm very burpy today. Maybe because I just ate a bunch of yogurt. I don't know why that would make me very burpy, but yeah. Okay, that barely cleared it. Which is very good, because if it didn't clear it, that would be very bad. Okay, so I'm just gonna head straight into the control tower and blow up. That was the promised explosion. Yeah. Okay, so here's one that I parked on it earlier, and I'm gonna prove that one with only one engine and half the wing is destroyed. Actually, well, half of, more like a quarter of one wing. I'm gonna prove to you that it can fly. At the time I forgot to turn on brakes, so turn off brakes. Sorry. So there we go. Brakes are off, and I'm gonna roll up the landing gear, the landing gear, and then I'm going to crash. Ta-da! Okay, and more promised explosions. More explosions. Kaboom! There's where my frame rate was only like 4 frames per second, which is very bad. It's a very bad frame rate. Alright, now here we go. Here's the second plane. It's powered by a giant SRB, and it has a very interesting wing configuration, which I very much like. Do you like it? No. Okay, so enough of the wing configuration, let's launch it. So there's not much other to say than it's a giant SRB with wings on it and a cockpit in the front. Okay, just gonna. It's a very interesting way to fly it because its thrust to weight ratio is way more than 1. You can practically just go straight up and you'll keep rising, which is awesome. So it's a lot more different than many normal planes. Alright. I think this one explodes too. I think. So the first time I tried this, I actually did not explode any parts. It landed right next to the runway. It couldn't land exactly on the runway. Okay. Here's me demonstrating that, yes, it can go straight up. Then you can see on the G-force meter, which is which is basically the thrust weight ratio. It's awesome. At least on Kerbin. Alright. Here we go. I'm just gonna fly it in for a safe landing. Okay, that's when I pause the game. Okay. that was a little pause because I had to go answer the door. So, yeah. Alright. Do you like how I have 4 of the guess you could call them lateral control surfaces to control yaw, which is side to side, pitch is up and down, roll is unsurprisingly rolling, and that's what I'm doing now. Okay, here's my amazing approach, which is not great. I tried flaring, but yeah. I should have waited till the last minute to flare, because, I mean, by now I'm pretty much too far down the runway to do a meaningful landing. Or I could just do that, which is what I just did. Alright. Yeah. Here I've pretty much just abandoned all hopes of landing on the runway, and I'm going to investigate something that's under the launch pad, looks like. I don't know what happened there. Just gonna go around and yeah, just land this little plane. Excuse me. Okay. Actually, I promised explosions. I was wrong. Sorry. Although I promise there will be one at the end of this video. Because every Kerbal video needs at least 2 explosions. At least 1 explosion. Because that is Kerbal. That's very Kerbal. Okay. Okay, here is the third craft, which it has docking ports on it. I'm not going to demonstrate it docking, but it's basically designed so tourists can get onto it. Also an interesting wing configuration. I was playing around with interesting wing configurations today because I felt like it. And then you can see those drop tanks have engines on them because they're not drop tanks. They're tanks with engines on them, with an air intake on them, with wheels on them. They basically contain all the fuel, which I'm raising my eyebrows at myself right now. All of the fuel, yes, in the entire craft. Which was probably a good idea. I mean, it makes it so just going around the Kerbal Space Center gives me, like, it eats up a bunch of my fuel. Not like half of it or anything, but like a tenth of it. So it probably, I mean, it could get to the island airfield. It probably couldn't get anywhere else, though. I mean, it could probably get to those islands near the Kerbal Space Center that kind of look like Hawaii, but which the old KSC, I mean, not the old KSC, the island where the island airfield is a part of, which I think it's the largest one of. But yeah, I thought about landing this thing on the VAB, but then I decided I'm going way too fast to land on a little patch of, you couldn't even call it runway, that tiny. Okay, now here's your promised explosion. In a minute. I tried to fly through the monolith, but it failed. And there's your promised explosion! Yay! Okay, goodbye, people, and, remember, I have some videos up on screen, and then in the middle of the screen, you can click and subscribe. Remember to click the bell icon so you can get all of my videos. And then, yeah, goodbye.